Luka Doncic is a beast on the court. This is a fact that nobody disputes, but he is known for a certain finesse style of play, which does not usually include dunking. That is, unless you happen to be on the Philadelphia 76ers, then he will apparently make an exception, which he did in fine style last week. Today we are discussing Doncic's performance against the Sixers, plus a certain Ja Morant's hilarious reaction, so stay tuned. First up, let's jump straight in and discuss Doncic's performance against the Sixers last week. As we know, Luka Doncic has been a standout performer since joining the ranks from the Spanish giants Real Madrid a little over 3 years ago. Madrid might be best known for their football team, but it is their basketball franchise where Doncic made his name. The big Slovenian has broken many records since being drafted in 2018, but it is his basketball IQ which has fans talking. He is pretty much the complete player, even at the tender age of 22, and came second in the GM MVP vote back in 2020. He shows awesome awareness and is able to go toe-to-toe with some of the biggest names in the league, like LeBron James and James Harden, for example, showing absolutely no fear in the process. One thing he is not known for, however, is his dunking prowess, and prior to last week's game against the Sixers, had only done so once this season. That all changed midway through the third quarter when he pulled off an uncharacteristic crossover and two-handed dunk. Wow! But the big man was not finished there. Later in the same quarter, he went for another crossover and nailed a super tomahawk dunk over 6'10" center Andre Drummond. That gets a double wow. The 6'7" Doncic tripled his dunk stats in one quarter for the whole season, which prompted fans to ask where this version of Doncic had come from, and leaving Sixers fans bewildered. What did you make of Doncic's performance? So let's talk about that reaction from Morant. Stay tuned. Morant, who currently plies his trade for the Memphis Grizzlies, is also a stayed-out competitor in the Western Conference. As it stands, the two players could meet each other again in the postseason, as both the Mavs and the Grizzlies are well placed, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top should they come face-to-face again. And after Doncic's dunk clinic against the Sixers, Morant was clearly impressed and took to social media to big up his Slovenian rival, suggesting that he should join the dunk contest. Adding Luka to the contest might even prove more popular than you might think, as some fans have taken to social media to hate on it in recent times, so throwing in a wild card might do the trick to pique interest once again. Ja wasn't the only one to comment on Doncic's performance against the Sixers, with Twitter seemingly going into a meltdown. Tim McMahon of ESPN had this to say about Luka's double dunk. "I'll go ahead and declare Luka Doncic punching it on Andre Drummond as the most spectacular dunk of the Dallas superstar's career. Is he right?" Fox Sports gambling analyst Jason McIntyre even went as far as to claim that if you could start an NBA team with any current player, then the first pick would easily have to be Luka. Big praise indeed. Who would be your first pick? Let us know below. Joel Embiid has been weighing in on the Ben Simmons saga. Stay tuned to find out what went down. It's no secret that there is no love lost between the Sixers pair, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and the quicker Simmons and the Philly outfit cut ties, the better for everyone involved. The pair's relationship soured even further this week when Joel Embiid himself was asked about these Simmons trade rumors, which every Sixers player seems to be asked about whenever they step in front of the media these days. The big Cameroonian pulled no punches and even called Simmons out for what he perceives as the Aussie's inability to critique himself after a poor performance. Embiid claims that while a team must share the blame for a loss, each individual should also be able to look at himself and figure out what he could do better to make sure of a better performance next time out, something he claims Simmons is incapable of. Strong words indeed. Embiid went on to say that Simmons' reaction after the Hawks' defeat last year was definitely unreasonable, before seeming to realize that he was going in pretty hard on the Sixers' number 25 by conceding that having him on the team is obviously to their advantage. After these comments, we're pretty certain that Simmons' playing career in Philadelphia is all but over, as he probably isn't going to want to share a locker room with Embiid again after hearing what he had to say. What do you make of Joel's claims? Fair or not? Let us know your thoughts below. Some trade news concerning the Pacers and Kings now, ahead of Thursday's deadline. Don't go anywhere. It has been confirmed this evening that Lithuanian-American power forward Domantas Sabonis has been traded to the Sacramento Kings. The ex-Pacer joins the Cali outfit in a 6-player deal, joining Justin Holiday and Jeremy Lamb. Sacramento will also receive a future-protected second-round pick. In return, the Pacers will receive Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. The reshuffle is an interesting one for both teams, as they occupy 13th spot in their respective divisions, and a couple of wins each could move them both into the play-in tournament contention. Sabonis is a former 2-time All-Star, and his numbers are up there with the best in the NBA, as he is only one of 7 players to average more than 18 points and 10 rebounds this campaign. His move west comes as a bit of a surprise, as the Pacers have also recently let Karis LeVert go to the Cavs, so it will be interesting to see if they make any more additions to their roster after bringing in the aforementioned Kings players. Sabonis will join a Kings roster which includes Harrison Barnes, more on him in a little bit, someone who the Lakers Blazers, amongst others, are reportedly interested in, plus star guard De'Aaron Fox. With the addition of Sabonis, the Sacramento Kings are looking to make it to the postseason for the first time in more than 15 years, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Do you see the Kings making it, or is next season more realistic? A Jeremy Grant rumor's up next. Two teams who are reportedly currently in talks regarding a trade are the Detroit Pistons, who have been pretty quiet on the trade front, and the Portland Trail Blazers, who have been quite the opposite. Apparently, the two teams are engaged in talks in regards to Jeremy Grant amidst a huge reshuffle in Oregon. The Blazers see Grant as a key part of their future plans, and the Pistons are reportedly asking for 2 future first-round picks or a young player with big potential and an attractive pick. Any deal could include a third party, the New Orleans Pelicans, who are closely monitoring goings-on amidst what could be a frantic final couple of days before the trade deadline. Would Grant be a good addition to the Blazers roster? Give us your thoughts below. Harrison Barnes is attracting attention on the East Coast. Stay tuned to hear all about it. In the past day or so, the New York Knicks have reportedly inquired about the availability of Sacramento Kings veteran Harrison Barnes. The Kings have just traded their other point guard, Tyrese Halliburton, to the Pacers in the aforementioned Sabonis deal, so letting go of Barnes might not make sense at the precise moment. If the Knicks had acted sooner, they might have stood more chance of getting their man, but never say never. Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau is a known admirer of Barnes, and as recently as last week spoke about the player, saying that he's a terrific player who often gets overlooked, and we would tend to agree with him. The Knicks also have a similar player in Cam Reddish, so it would be interesting to see if the two could play in the same team should Barnes make the switch to New York. But for now, nothing's been confirmed, so it will be a case of watch this space. Barnes has been in decent form this season, averaging 16.8 points, but it is apparent that Thibodeau doesn't really fancy Reddish, as he has only come onto the team when other players have been out recently. Do you think Barnes would be a good acquisition for the Knicks? Both he and Reddish are similar players, as we have mentioned, and it would surely mean the end for Reddish's short Knicks career should Barnes be brought in. Give us your thoughts below. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time when we'll be discussing some other bits and pieces. Also, why not do us a solid and share our video with any NBA fan friends you might have on your social media accounts. Bye, guys.